Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Taurus Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Try not to burn myself, goddammit. And we're gonna finish off with Virgo and you motherfuckers, goddammit. What makes you a black sheep, or what makes you be motherfucking outcasted? Because the video stopped on me previously, so I need you to watch the previous video at the beginning, because the beginning was, you know, getting you all ready to have a full understanding of what it means to be a black sheep or to be outcasted within your family or your possessions, aka the things that you have or the places that you go. And when you step into these locations, you start to feel energies like, oh, nah, I don't need to be in this motherfucking place. Yeah, you need to know what the fuck is going on. And this is why you are experiencing that black sheep or outcast energy. Also, look, like I said, anytime we focus that 3 magnitude energy, like I said, 3 numbers are not motherfucking what y'all be adding, it's just subtracting with, motherfucker. It's their frequency vibrations. So anytime you add that line of event of 3 to any circumstance that you're pointing to down here, you get to see the essence out of it. So for the most part, we got our space. Now this space that we're talking about in this video is separation. Now separation comes in a feminine and a masculine perspective. The feminine perspective will be black sheep. The masculine perspective will be outcasted. And like I said, go to my previous video so you can fully understand that. Now, once you understand there's 2 sides to a story and then there's the truth, you understand that there's the feminine, the masculine side of something, then there's the true space of something. And the essence of where black sheep and being outcasted come from is just the form of the essence of being separate in some way, shape, or form. So the signs that experience separate energy is fire, which would be Aries, water, which will be Scorpio, air, which will be Aquarius, and in this magnitude of this video right here, Virgo, which is the earth. Now, let's Virgo. Check this out. We're going to start off with your modality. Now, this is mutable earth. Being mutable and being able to adapt to your own and other people's ways of thinking and being practical. This would separate you from the other 2 earth elements, because where Taurus may like to be fixated in their way of thinking and being practical, and where Capricorns may like to initiate and create new ways of thinking and being practical, you're too busy observing that from an outside perspective, because you're trying to see where things could be stable and you're trying to see where things could be moved, where things could be changed. See, this is mutable right here. So for the most part, once you get lost in that cloud, sometimes you could be unrelatable to the Taurus cloud, and you could be unrelatable to the Capricorn cloud. Now, for the most part, when we start to talk about enemy signs and things of that nature, each element has them. So when we talk about earth, it'll be the clash between Taurus and Virgo. So you might clash with a Taurus way faster than you may clash with a Capricorn. But slowly but surely, you experience the same energies, just to a small or large magnitude. A large magnitude when it comes to Tauruses, a small magnitude when it comes to Capricorns. Same as the other elements. When we talk about water, Cancers and Scorpios clash. You know what I'm saying? So to a large magnitude, it'll be the Scorpio and Cancer. To the small magnitude, it'll be the Scorpio and Pisces, and the Cancer and Pisces. You see what I'm saying? Fire, that'll be Aries, Leo. Air signs, that'd be the Aquarius and Geminis. But back, we're talking about earth signs. As far as the Virgos and the earth signs in general, you guys be clashing with Tauruses way faster than you clash with Capricorns. So keep that in mind. Now, when we get into this spectrum of mutable, the reason why is because you don't stay fixated enough for something to be builded, even if it's something that's built on your ground basis. For an example, Tauruses, they like to build things on their ground basis. So whether it's relatable to other people or not is something that they can sustain themselves on. Whether it's a family, foundation, home, business, structure, whatever type of security that they have to reach on that match their energy vibration, a Taurus can be stubborn or consistent in that energy. Now, as a Virgo, you're too busy trying to analyze that structure at whole. So it never even has time for something to sustain itself, because you're too busy seeing if it could be sustainable for other people that's constantly coming in. And when I say other people, other men, women, feminine and masculine versions of thoughts and ideas. As a Virgo, once you constantly having new thoughts and new feelings and emotions about stability and practicality, nothing's being stable, nothing's being practical. There's just always new ideas being added onto it. So there's always a worry sense or a nervous energy behind something never is going to be able to hold up. The table never going to be able to stand. And a Taurus likes to look at the table like it's standing, even if someone else could look at it from another perspective, if that table is sturdy or not. This is where Tauruses could get into situations where you could prove them wrong, and sometimes they'll still be right. They still think they're right. They'll be stuck into their stubbornness, but if they get a good Taurus, they'll be stuck in their consistency. But sometimes it's because they look at the table and they just want to relax on that table if they're at a point of the table where they can feel secure. aka they feel the table is stable enough for them. A Virgo will spend a lot of time looking at the table as it's never stable enough. Even if the table is stable enough, they still walk on eggshells on the table like, well, this could still be on the table. This screw, this bolt could still be added. This leg could still be added. And therefore, you're never actually experiencing, relaxing, or enjoying the table being sturdy. So you see what I'm saying? So you see where you might fall short from Taurus a lot of time, where this is where y'all both collide. You know what I'm saying? They helped each other because y'all both earth. Y'all both talking about the table. But just both the way y'all looking at the table is different. Each element is the same way. Y'all might be looking at the same thing, but the space that y'all in and how y'all view that same thing is very different. So this is what makes every sign different. This is what makes you very different than a Taurus. You might not never look at the table sturdy enough. But a Taurus like to look at the table sturdy, even if other people may look at that table like, oh, that shit ain't even sturdy. But a Taurus can make a table sturdy enough due to time. And a lot of times, Virgos may not have that time. Same way with Capricorns. Capricorns is about building. So they built the table. They drew the blueprint. You know what I'm saying? So for the most part, it's how the table look, how the table constructed. It's initiated. Cardinal. So for the most part, due to that, you have to leave room for mistakes. You have to leave room for openness. And a lot of times that make Virgo worry more than anything. You mean to tell me that we got to jump into something that we could put on schedule? We can put it in a system where we can see the routine of it. But you mean to tell me we got to add attributes of something not going that way all the time? Oh shit, that's the worst time and worst nightmare for a goddamn Virgo. But that's what separates them from a Capricorn. Because a Capricorn, they're still about structure. They're still about time. But they're all about initiating and creating new ways of how to see that. So for the most part, a Capricorn is sit back and look at the table like, all right, this table may not be sturdy enough like the Virgo, or a Capricorn may look at the table like, okay, it's sturdy enough, even if other people see it if it's sturdy or not like the Taurus. But a Capricorn will look at it like, we don't necessarily just need one table. Okay, this table cannot be as sturdy or it can be sturdy, aka Virgo or Taurus, but we ain't got to lean all of our eggs in one basket, aka we can start working on another table. Let's work on another table. And all the tables ain't going to be sturdy, but once you sit back, you see this is a hard-working ass motherfucker because they keep making ass tables. So you can count on this person to teach you how to make a table. You just got to learn how to stabilize a table, make it sturdy enough, aka jump into the Taurus energy, and make sure you're looking at all the pieces that so it can maintain that way, so you can see it ain't missing no screws. So it can be perfect enough to stay that way, aka Virgo. But you see where it separates from Capricorn? But Capricorn won't show you what it takes to make a table. It's going to tell you that a table needs to be sturdy, aka Taurus, and it's going to tell you a table needs screws, aka Virgo. But for the most part, a Taurus may make a Capricorn may make a bunch of tables, but all them tables, some tables may not have screws. Some tables may not be sturdy. You see what I'm saying? So it's just they're pushing the business. They're pushing the archer. So you see where you may separate from the Cap. So at the same time, damn right, me jumping into this made me want to go separate for all of them now. That made me want to go separate for fire now, because I broke them down, but now that I got a freedom of mind, thinking I don't have to rush into the next one, I'm breaking all other kind of shit down. Shit, that made me want to look, y'all. We going live tonight, y'all. We going live because I want to break down also how you know you died, how you know how you died in a previous lifetime. But we're gonna break all of that. But for the most part, like I said, this will separate you from the Capricorn, because a lot of times a Capricorn just like to be seen as a person that can get something started, but may not necessarily the thing that they start, the building that they build, may not be sustainable for business, aka Taurus, and some of the windows may be cracked, and it may not be good enough to for everybody to be in that building. That building ain't been inspected yet to see if it's suitable. Boom, that's Virgo. So Capricorns may not be worried about all that part. They just worry about the blueprint and what this building can be, and like, oh, we got a spot up, let's start the building here. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, this would separate you from them. And then when it separates you from the other elements and signs of things of that nature, you see how slowly but surely you start to see how you will start to manifest being a black sheep or being outcasted, because the Capricorn and the Taurus, or remix it, other signs, once they put you in their mind, they start to think like, okay, well, let me wait calling this person, because this person might start bringing up certain things that we need to do that we don't necessarily want to worry about right now. AKA if the Capricorn don't want to worry about how much the window ledges is going to cost, and each brick and all the shit that melt the bricks together and shit like that, and the tar and the cement and shit. If they just want to think about the idea of it right now, boom, they're not going to call you. Taurus want to be comfortable in it right now, so they want to make sure that this is a secure situation. This is what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? This is what we're going to do, or this is what we ain't going to do. If this is what we're going to do, then keyword, the metaphor right now, the hypothesis is the building. If this is what we're going to do right now, all right, this is what we're going to do. Boom. So let's secure ourselves into this right now. Let's start to work on it. Let's start to build on that and shit like that. But here where the Virgo get into it, the Virgo start to throw in so much indecisiveness, so much unsureness, so much other ideas. Once we get rooted in one idea, the Virgo worrying about another idea, and then that start to frustrate the Taurus. Like, oh, goddamn, well, you're not making me feel secure enough, because Taurus is, the moon is exalted here. So anytime a planet is exalted, it shares possibilities of over-exhausting themselves. So a Taurus sometimes can over-exhaust themselves into security. And if the Virgo keeps showing that indecisiveness or that worrying about shit that we ain't even think about yet, let's think about this first, then for the most part, you're going to play out that energy of frustrating the Taurus, making the Taurus feel like, okay, this relationship or whatever we're building together is not secure enough. Even though you got the right idea, I can take your information, but you're not a secure enough individual for me to feel like this is something I should put all my eggs in one basket. And Tauruses love finding areas where they can put all their eggs in one basket, because they like to set up shop and nurture. And this is why Cancers love Tauruses and Tauruses love Cancer, but they can clash at times also with that opportunity sextile. But when it comes into the Virgo, I'm just trying to let you understand what's certain circumstances and situations that you dive into, what makes you black sheep and outcasted. Even you could take the same energy and develop it with other signs. You see what I'm saying? Not just the earth signs. But this is the clearest way how to help everybody understand how everybody is different. Now, your gifts and attributes what makes, because it's a gift and curse to everything, is you're able to see where the table ain't sturdy. You're able to see where we don't need to build that table or build that building right there. And we need to analyze and see if it's another place based upon the surrounding and stuff like that. Boom, boom, boom. That's Taurus and Capricorn. So you looking at that, that's the gift. But we ain't talking about the gifts right now. We're talking about what makes you black sheep and what makes you outcast. Now, when we get in, that's the modality. Now, when we get into the planet, your planet is Mercury. So for the most part, it's the feminine side of Mercury, the way you think, communicate, and analyze. So for the most part, you do this from an internal space. So you may take more time with trying to practicalize something internally before externally expressing it. And when we talk about Tauruses and Capricorn, they like to externally express what's going on internally. And Virgos, before you do how you truly feel, you will say how you internally think first. And a lot of times you get blinded by the light, thinking how you truly internally think is how you truly internally feel. And a lot of times this will put Virgos the foot in their mouth. They end up helping the wrong people, helping before they think, before that person necessarily needed help, and then you end up going broke for the wrong people, or end up putting in your 2 cents in areas that you don't necessarily need to put it in. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to understand Mercury is all about thinking. And then once you got thinking in the yin realm, you got yang yin. You see what I'm saying? It ain't yin yang like fire. Fire's in the yin realm pushing out yang. It's yang yin. It's in the yang realm already on the left brain, but it internalizes it. So it's a feminine sign. So for the most part, it internalizes thoughts. So you would sit there and internalize your thinking and analyzing and your true feelings, and only present something that you think that is perfect enough within the words or logical enough. Or rational enough to present it. So anytime you logically think or think something's rational, you're blurring the waters into fire or into air. So for the most part, it ain't how you truly feel, it's how you making it up, how you want it to appear to be. So for the most part, as a Taurus or a Capricorn or even other signs, sometimes when you, all the signs, you know what I'm saying? But I'm practicalizing it, y'all. When you present that in that magnitude, a lot of times it come across like you're gooder than someone, or you're telling someone something that they need to do when you're not necessarily doing it, or putting yourself into a situation where you see in other people's ways and how they move and how they act, and you're calculating it and analyzing it, and you're constructing all the bad shit out of it, and then you're looking at yourself internally, thinking, practicalizing, thinking, that's yang, internalizing that thinking, and then you're looking at it, seeing if you do these type of same mistakes, or you're looking at it and see that you don't want to be seen that way. So it's like you're trying to make yourself perfect in an imperfect world. But you need to understand, as a Virgo, things can only be perfect for you. And when things can only be perfect for, when you understand that concept, you'll understand that everybody's imperfectness is what makes them perfect. And therefore, you won't be trying to spend your whole life on trying to make things actually perfect, because you're searching for something that's not even in this realm of reality. See what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. But once you understand that polar shift as a Virgo, then you'll really start to get to conclude that Mercury and be able to start to communicate your true feelings and emotions, other than trying trying to communicate what you think something should go in order for you to feel safe, or in order for you to see a routine or pattern play out so you can feel secure, because all earth signs represent that secure energy also. And then so for the most part, you're not going to, when you don't see that in this world. I'm telling you that. But a lot of Virgos think they're going to see that in this world. So they waste their whole time in this lifetime and end up manifesting circumstances and situations of being a black sheep or being outcasted. Because you in search for things to be perfectly your way, and when things don't go your way, you overanalyze why it's not that way and what's wrong with you and what's wrong with others and things of that nature. All the way to you sit back and realize, like, damn, 20 years of your life this passed up, and you realize that you wasn't going to be able to change shit anyway. So just you could have spent that whole last 20 years of relaxing, or depending on how old you is, you know what I'm saying. But you could have spent that whole amount of years relaxing and calming your nerves. So for the most part, that whole time that you didn't, you manifested a bunch of circumstances and situations where you end up being outcast or the black sheep of your family or friends. Now, getting into the house, you know what I'm saying? The house is dealing with the 6th house. So this is work, health, routine, scheduling, practicality, patterns, and things of that nature. So for the most part, this is what you're into when it comes to the circumstances of how you also participate in this black sheep or outcast energy, because you're back to supported by the space that created your star constellation makes you see life as work. So a lot of times you feel like you have to work on everything, not even just jobs, relationships, health, scheduling, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your associations, the locations, you feel like all these things need work, or if things not going in your favor, you feel like you need to work on yourself before participating yourself with these people, places, and things. So everything is back to supported by work. Now, when things are back to supported by work, it starts to manifest into your life as things is all work, non-play. And then when things start to participate into play, you start to worry in these areas because it's uncomfortable, because it's not something you used to or how you see the outlook of the world. So for the most part, when things get too playful, too spontaneous, or too non-working and things of that nature, this also puts you into a situation where you may think you need to throw in a 2 cents or act a certain way in these scenarios. So even if it is a time to have fun and enjoy yourself, you still act in certain ways that may kill the fun or make the fun more logical or rational. And therefore, once we add too much logic or rationality to a feeling of an emotion or a desire to have fun, that still kills it in a certain way. So now you got a certain schedule or a system to how you have fun, and therefore that's not fun, or it's forcing fun. And when you force fun, therefore, you see what I'm saying? So this will also make you the black sheep, and this will put you into a situation of being outcasted, because people think they have to be overly calculated just to enjoy themselves, and to enjoy yourself end up being a calculation. So you have to be careful that you don't dive into that also, Virgos. You know what I'm saying? So this is why a lot of times you have to rely on a lot of other placements in your chart in order to relax, or have other people in your life that kind of help you, that Virgo energy, relax. Therefore, you'll be in a situation where you won't be a black sheep or outcasted. And flight boss, bitch, goddamn air.